C.S. Lewis lectures. There are times in life when everything seems to fall apart. The body feels the crushing weight of exhaustion. The mind is overwhelmed with worries, and the heart carries a pain that feels endless. Have you ever wondered if there is something that can bring relief to all the anguish of the soul? The answer may be found in words written centuries ago, yet their power remains undiminished even today. There is a psalm that not only speaks of hope, but also carries a promise of transformation. A song that has been passed down through generations, bringing peace to those enduring difficult times. Anyone who has experienced the power of this psalm knows it is more than just an arrangement of poetic phrases. It is an invitation to those who long to leave behind fear, uncertainty, and pain. It serves as a reminder that no storm lasts forever, and that light always returns to guide the path of those who place their trust in it. Today you will gain a deeper understanding of the meaning behind this psalm and how it can be applied to your life. But first, take a moment to reflect. Have you ever felt like everything was lost? Have you ever experienced moments where finding a way forward seemed impossible? If your answer is yes, then this message is meant for you. This psalm is a call to those who seek to rise again. It speaks directly to the hearts of those who have endured long nights of sorrow, deep wounds, and moments of weakness. Yet it is also a hymn of victory for those who long to witness a new dawn, who yearn for healing, renewal, and the strength to move forward. Before we continue, here's a special invitation. If this message resonates with you, write the following sentence in the comments: I receive the renewal that this psalm brings to my life. Also, share it with someone who may need these words today. Now take a deep breath and prepare yourself as we explore each part of this psalm together and uncover why it carries such profound power. What sustains a person in the hardest times, when everything around them feels uncertain and fear becomes a constant companion? What gives the strength to keep going? The answer to this question has remained with humanity for centuries: faith. It is the foundation that keeps those who have lost almost everything standing. It is the invisible thread that connects a weary heart to an unshakable hope. Throughout history, faith has been a force that has driven great transformations. In times of crisis, war, and disease, it has been the anchor that has kept humanity from collapsing. In 1963, Martin Luther King Jr. delivered a speech that changed the course of the civil rights movement in the United States. He declared, "With faith we will be able to transform the jangling discords of our nation into a beautiful symphony of brotherhood." His conviction stirred the hearts of thousands, because faith is not merely an abstract idea. It is a flame that illuminates the path for those who dare to believe in the impossible. Did you know that most people who watch our videos haven't subscribed to the channel yet? If this content is inspiring you and adding value to your life, consider leaving a like and subscribing. This simple gesture makes a significant difference, allowing us to continue sharing messages of faith and transformation. Now let's continue this journey together. Even science has studied this subject and discovered something remarkable. People who cultivate faith and spiritual practices tend to cope better with emotional and physical challenges. In 2014, a study published in the Journal of the American Medical Association found that patients who engaged in prayer or meditation faced illnesses with greater resilience, experiencing lower stress levels and enhanced emotional well-being. This leads us to an essential truth. Faith has healing power, not only in the physical sense, but also in restoring the weary heart, calming the troubled mind, and strengthening those who feel they can no longer begin anew. The psalm we are exploring today is not just a beautifully written passage or a simple prayer. It carries a message of renewal for those who need it most. When David composed this psalm, he was not in a moment of triumph. He was not surrounded by wealth or living in peace. He wrote these words after enduring hardships, feeling the weight of suffering and uncertainty. Imagine what it meant in those times to suffer great losses, face persecution, and still stand firm. David found his strength in God. He understood that even when a night is filled with sorrow, joy will come with the morning. This message has echoed through the ages. In 2005, after a natural disaster devastated parts of the United States, thousands lost their homes, their loved ones, and everything they owned. Hurricane Katrina was one of the deadliest catastrophes of that era, leaving countless people without shelter. Amidst the destruction, a group of survivors gathered to pray. Though they had lost everything, one certainty remained: hope could not be taken from them. Years later, many of them shared that it was their faith that gave them the strength to rebuild their lives from the ground up. That same hope is available to anyone who chooses to believe. Perhaps you are going through a season of discouragement. Maybe you feel as though your faith is dwindling, suffocated by life's challenges. But today this message reaches you to remind you that faith is not something that disappears. It is something that can be reignited. If you are in the midst of a battle, now is the time to strengthen your heart. God never promised a life without hardships, but He did promise to stand beside those who trust in Him. Psalm 30 speaks of a God who rescues, who does not abandon, and who restores at the right time. This means that no matter what has happened up until now, your story does not end in suffering. There is a new dawn for those who hold on to the promise of God's faithfulness. At this moment, I invite you to reflect. What in your life needs restoration? What part of your heart longs for hope? Take a deep breath, embrace these words, and allow this hope to fill your soul. The way we view life can completely transform how we face challenges. When a person chooses to cultivate gratitude and recognize the blessings they have already received, something extraordinary happens. The mind opens to new possibilities, and the heart gains strength in adversity. But can gratitude truly change a life? In 1928, a psychologist named Emmons conducted a study that put this idea to the test. He gathered participants and asked them to write down 3 things they were grateful for each day. After a few weeks, the results were astounding. Those who practiced gratitude experienced a boost in mood, reduced stress, and greater resilience in difficult situations. This study not only confirmed the transformative power of gratitude, but also revealed that it serves as a foundation for mental and emotional well-being. Now think about your own life. How often do you focus only on what is missing, the problems yet to be solved, or the pain that seems unending? It is natural for humans to have this tendency, but there is immense power in looking beyond the hardships and recognizing the blessings already received. Psalm 30 embodies this perspective. David did not write these words from a place of absolute comfort. He endured trials, faced enemies, and lived through anguish, yet he chose to praise God, acknowledging that joy always returns to those who remain steadfast. This teaches us a valuable lesson. Gratitude is not merely a passing emotion, but a conscious daily choice. When gratitude becomes a habit, the heart becomes lighter, the mind finds clarity, and hope is strengthened. And what about praise? Why is it so vital? Praise is more than singing or reciting beautiful words. It is a declaration of God's greatness, independent of circumstances. When someone chooses to worship, they affirm that their faith is not based on fleeting situations, but on the unwavering nature of God. The Bible is filled with moments where praise preceded great miracles. One striking example is found in the book of Acts, where Paul and Silas were unjustly imprisoned in a dark, cold cell. Instead of despairing, they chose to worship. In the middle of the night, as they sang hymns, an earthquake shook the foundations of the prison, opening its doors. This reveals a profound spiritual truth. Praise has the power to break chains, open doors, and bring deliverance. And this principle still applies today. Countless stories exist of individuals who, even in their darkest moments, found strength through worship. Even science acknowledges its impact. Studies from Duke University indicate that music and worship stimulate areas of the brain associated with emotional resilience and healing. Faith, gratitude, and praise, these are not just abstract concepts. They are powerful tools that can transform lives. Responsible for well-being and emotional resilience. Those who cultivate moments of praise not only strengthen their faith, but also fortify their emotional state. Therefore, it is essential to reflect. Have you acknowledged the blessings you have already received? Have you chosen to offer praise even in difficult times? Psalm 30 teaches us that God turns mourning into joy, restores what seems lost, and ensures that even the longest night gives way to a new beginning. Gratitude unlocks doors, praise uplifts the soul, and those who trust will witness the Lord's faithfulness unfolding in their lives. Life is a cycle. There are moments of happiness as well as times of sorrow. No one journeys through life without facing challenges, losses, or disappointments. The crucial question is how to endure suffering without succumbing to despair. History reveals that those who learn to transform pain into growth discover a deeper purpose amid adversity. Overcoming hardships does not mean ignoring problems or pretending they do not exist. Rather, it involves cultivating the inner strength to persevere even when everything seems to fall apart. Psalm 30 powerfully conveys this message, emphasizing that while suffering may endure for a night, joy will always come in the morning. This reassures us that no pain is permanent and that God has the power to transform even the most difficult circumstances into testimonies of restoration. Throughout history, many have experienced this truth. In 1945, at the end of World War II, thousands of prisoners were liberated from concentration camps. Among them was Viktor Frankl, a psychiatrist who had lost his family and endured inhumane conditions. Instead of allowing trauma to consume him, he transformed his suffering into wisdom. His book, Man's Search for Meaning, became a seminal work on finding purpose even in life's darkest moments. This same lesson applies to everyone. Suffering does not define us, but it can serve as a catalyst for spiritual and emotional growth. Whether facing illness, loss, or hardship, each challenge can be an opportunity for maturity. Often, God uses these struggles to teach us dependence on Him, build resilience, and cultivate compassion for others who are also in pain. The Apostle Paul exemplified this truth. He faced imprisonment, persecution, and immense distress, yet he wrote some of the most uplifting letters in the Bible. In one of them, he declared, "When I am weak, then I am strong." This reveals that by acknowledging our limitations and placing our trust in God, we discover strengths we never knew we had. Suffering may seem unjust and strike without warning, shaking even the firmest foundations. However, even in the most trying times, one truth remains unchanged: God's care. Stories of perseverance reveal that faith is one of the key factors that help people move forward. In 2011, a tsunami devastated Japan, leaving thousands homeless. Yet among the survivors, many shared inspiring accounts of how prayer and hope sustained them despite losing everything. This is the essence of Psalm 30. The assurance that God transforms pain into renewal, despair into hope, and mourning into joy. If this message resonates with you, take a moment to show your support by liking and subscribing to the channel. Your engagement helps us continue sharing faith-strengthening content that inspires countless lives. Let's spread this message of hope together. If you are facing a difficult time today, remember, this is not the end of your story. God sees your pain, knows your struggles, and has already prepared a new chapter for your life. Perhaps you have considered giving up, abandoning dreams, or believing that nothing will change, yet this message reaches you now as a reminder that there is a greater purpose, and God is working behind the scenes in ways you cannot yet perceive. The journey to overcoming begins with trust. Trust that storms will pass, that night will not last forever, and that God is in control even when everything feels uncertain. Now, take a moment for reflection. What pain do you need to place in God's hands today? What area of your life requires restoration? Breathe deeply and allow this truth to settle in your heart. God has already begun His work in your life. There comes a time when human words are insufficient, when pain weighs heavy on the soul, when questions seem unanswered, and when the heart feels overwhelmed. In those moments, there is only one true refuge: the presence of God. Prayer serves as the bridge that connects us directly to Him. No matter where you are, what you have done, or what troubles burden you, the instant you close your eyes and open your soul, a connection is formed. Since ancient times, prayer has been the divine link between humanity and God. Psalm 30 teaches not only gratitude, but also the power of a sincere cry for help, recognizing that only God can transform any situation. Even science acknowledges the benefits of prayer. A study published in the Journal of Behavioral Medicine found that people who pray regularly experience lower levels of anxiety and greater resilience during crises. This is because prayer is not merely a religious practice, but also a tool for emotional and mental well-being. But how can we strengthen this spiritual connection? First, it is crucial to understand that prayer is not a mechanical ritual. It does not require memorized words or rehearsed phrases. What God desires is a sincere heart willing to communicate openly with Him. King David, the author of this psalm, understood this deeply. He did not hesitate to express his fears, weaknesses, and sorrows before the Lord. To him, prayer was not merely about asking for things, but about cultivating a relationship with God, a privilege that remains available to everyone today. When a child speaks to their father, they do not need to measure their words. They simply express themselves, trust, and expect to be heard. The same is true with God. Prayer holds the power to change circumstances, but more importantly, it transforms the hearts of those who pray. Even when answers seem delayed, something within begins to shift. Faith grows stronger, anxiety gives way to peace, and the heart finds rest. Countless testimonies attest to this truth. During World War II, for instance, many soldiers wrote in letters that prayer was what kept them grounded amid chaos. Even when surrounded by uncertainty, they found solace in kneeling and surrendering their fears to God. Today, that same peace remains available to all. If prayer is not yet part of your daily life, start small. Dedicate a few moments each day to converse with God, whether in the morning, before bed, or whenever you feel the need. Over time, this practice will become a source of refuge. If you already have this habit, deepen it. Read Psalm 30 aloud, meditate on each word, and allow its truth to fill your heart. Now a special invitation. Shall we pray together? Close your eyes, and if you feel inclined, repeat this prayer in your heart. Lord, I come before you, knowing that only in your presence can I find peace. Though difficult days arise, I trust that your hand sustains me. May my faith be renewed, and may my connection with you grow stronger. Teach me to trust, to surrender my fears, and to rest in your will. If this prayer resonates with you, share in the comments. Today I place my life in God's hands and trust in His care. God hears every word, thought, and desire of your heart. Prayer does not need to be perfect, it only needs to be sincere. Every person at some point has felt the need for restoration. It may be a lost dream, a broken relationship, or faith weakened by hardships, but one truth remains unshaken. What seems beyond repair can be restored, and what has been broken can be made whole again. Returning to how things were before is not just a renewal, it's a chance to build something even stronger. In Psalm 30, we find God's promise to those who are weary, broken, and without hope. He transforms mourning into joy, clothes the discouraged with gladness, and brings a fresh start to those who believed everything was lost. The Bible is filled with stories of restoration. Take Job, for example. He lost his family, wealth, and health, enduring unimaginable suffering. Yet, his faith never wavered, and at the right time, God not only restored what he had lost, but also blessed him with twice as much. This is the ultimate example of what it means to be renewed. But this promise isn't just for people in the past, it's alive today. Every day, countless people experience a new beginning. In 1995, a man named John Smith was in a devastating car accident. Doctors told him he would never walk again. However, fueled by faith and unshakable determination, he embarked on a long journey of recovery. A few years later, not only did he walk again, but he also became a motivational speaker, inspiring others to overcome their struggles. This teaches us a profound truth. Restoration happens when we refuse to give up, when we trust that God's plans are greater than we can comprehend. But what is the purpose of restoration? Nothing happens by chance. Every challenge, every setback, and every scar are part of a greater story. God not only heals, but also gives purpose to those who choose to move forward. Moses is a clear example. He spent years in exile, convinced he was unfit for the mission God had given him. But when he finally embraced his calling, he became one of history's greatest leaders, freeing an entire nation from slavery. The same happens today. Many people endure hardships and don't understand why, only to later realize that their pain prepared them for something greater. A doctor who has survived a serious illness becomes more compassionate toward patients. Someone who has endured immense loss develops a heart full of empathy. A mother who raised her children alone becomes a source of inspiration for others facing the same struggles. All of this is part of a greater purpose. Perhaps you're wondering, what is my purpose? The answer begins with restoration. When God heals your wounds, He also opens a new path. Sometimes that path involves helping others. Other times it simply means living with gratitude, knowing that each day is a new opportunity to make a difference. If you feel like your life needs a fresh start, know that this is God's promise for you. He doesn't just restore, He leads you toward an even greater destiny than what was lost. Now, an important question. What in your life needs restoration? What do you need to place in God's hands today? Your past does not define you. What was broken can be mended. What seemed to have ended could actually be a new beginning. Our journey together has revealed something essential. No suffering is eternal, no struggle is meaningless, and no pain exists without God's greater purpose. Psalm 30 reminds us that the night may be long, but morning always brings a new beginning. Perhaps as you've reflected on this message, you've realized that it was exactly what you needed to hear. Deep inside, you may have sensed that God has been trying to remind you of promises that felt forgotten, rekindling a hope that once seemed lost. And now, after everything we've shared, one truth remains. Transformation starts with a decision, the decision to trust, to keep going, and to believe that God can restore what has been broken. Looking back at history, we see countless people who face seemingly impossible challenges, yet emerge stronger. Faith has always been a foundation of resilience and renewal. When all seemed lost, those who stood firm in their trust in God found that at the right moment, help arrived. And today, that same promise is available to you. If something still weighs on your heart, surrender it. If there's an area in your life that needs restoration, trust. If the past still tries to hold you back, let it go. God has already prepared a future filled with hope and fulfillment. Psalm 30 is more than poetry or a collection of beautiful words. It is a living testimony that storms pass, that God's grace is ever present, and that joy returns to those who place their trust in Him. What's behind you does not matter. What truly matters is what lies ahead. Now, one final invitation. Write in the comments, my story is in God's hands and He is restoring all things. Let this be your declaration of faith. May it be your decision to walk forward with hope, knowing that God is already preparing something extraordinary for your life. And remember, though sorrow may last through the night, joy comes in the morning. If this message touched your heart, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. It helps us continue sharing life-changing words of encouragement. And if you want to keep growing in faith, watch the next video appearing on the screen now. I'm sure it will bless your life. May this truth guide your steps and strengthen your faith. May God bless you abundantly. See you soon.